to the channel. It is Monday night. It's Monday night after the madness, the absolute madness that was the semi-final. Where do we go from there? Lots to talk about tonight. Lots to talk about. Let's get the advert bit out of the way first. Now, just why is it not updated? It's yeah, it's there we go. It is live. Let me just skip that advert, and what I'll do is I'll say my usual good evening to everyone in the chat. First of all, Kaiser, he was in the house first. Tam Mac was in the house. Sandwich Boy is in the house. He'll hear him. Paul McEwen. And then Haggis Man says, Baz, first me or Milton attempt to say stuff like that in forums. We're castrated. Ooh. Hail, boys and girls, says Christopher. Evan Sean says, hope we can get a player out or Tilio. And if Norwich are still interested in wee Mikey, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Peter King says, Baz, we cannot play as bad as that Saturday. We're going to throw the league away. We're going to talk about that. Also, Lorna Gallagher's in the house, even at you, Lorna. Yes, the nerves are back. They're back. And let me just quiet myself down because I'm just hearing myself on there. And who else is in the house? Stuart Carey's in the house. Christopher's in the house. Dan's in the house. Who really cares in the house? GTB Boy 67's in the house. Peter McGinn is in the house. And we've got the doctors for some nerve blood pressure pills after Saturday. Buzz says Lorna Pat C. They still have many sitting on the books and not getting a game whatsoever. Right, let's get into that series. It's just coming from North London. Right, I want to talk about players that are out on loan first, because as you would see, well, if you're looking at the screen I'm looking at, you'd see the amount of players. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 players out on loan. 15 players out on loan. Obviously, one of them is Bernaby. He is out on loan until December. I don't think you'll see Bernaby back at Celtic. Not a chance. He is out on loan until December this year with Sporting Club Internacional in Brazil. Ben Summers is out on loan. Mikey Johnson's out on loan. Young Toby, the goalkeeper, is out on loan. I think Toby will get brought back, and I think he needs to be brought in as a backup keeper. Mikey Johnson, well, he is out on loan to the end of the season until for another 2 months. At West Bromwich Albion, it's going to be a fight between West Brom and Norwich to see who takes Mikey Johnson off our hands. You've got young Matthew Anderson. You've got a lot of young players. You've then got Kwon, who's at St Mirren. I would sell him to St Mirren, to be honest. Get rid of him. You've got young Johnny Kenny, who's at Shamrock Rovers. Sell him to Shamrock Rovers. He's never going to make it as a Celtic striker. Not a chance. And then you've got Bosun Lowell, who's at Fleetwood Town, who's now playing midfield, I believe. You've got Liam Shaw, who went down to Wigan Athletic. If you remember, Liam came from Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was. And then you've got the one and only Marco Tilio, who returned to Melbourne City FC. Josh Clark went to Ayr United just recently. He went there to Scott Brown, because Scott Brown needed a keeper. You've then got Ben McPherson, who is a defender. You've got Adam Montgomery, who is also a defender, but he plays on the wing, doesn't he, young Adam Montgomery? Is he better than Greg Taylor? He's currently at Motherwell. Well, he was at Motherwell, but then he got injured and he's back at Celtic because he got that bad injury. And then you've got Said Haksabanovic. Remember him? Haksabanovic, our number 9. He is currently at Stoke City. That's the players that are out on loan. Greetings from Portugal. Good evening to you. That's some amount of players that we've got out on loan. I mean, that's 15 players out on loan. Haksabanovic, you're going to sell. Who else? Mikey Johnson, you're going to sell. Kwon, you're going to sell. Johnny Kenny, I would sell. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, including Bernabe. That's 5. Liam Shaw, I would sell him to Wigan. That's 6. There's 6 players that you could sell that are out on loan. But let's get to the first team. Obviously, it is a big summer for Celtic. The fact that we're going to be looking for a goalkeeper. There's been speculation around Benjamin Siegrist, and as it stands, the keepers are number 1, which is Joe Hart, number 29, which is Scott Bain, and number 31, which is Benjamin Siegrist. Benjamin Siegrist has been speaking about his missus has been speaking about the fact that she had to get eggs frozen, his sperm frozen, and whatever. And I think Benji Siegrist is a player, like, just get shot out. He's been at Celtic a while now. He's never going to get past Scott Bain into that number 2 position. He's certainly never going to be a number 1 at Celtic. For me, when you look at the players that's on loan, I would get young Toby back at Celtic, and I would get young Toby as our number 3 goalkeeper. I would get him as our number 3 goalkeeper. He's had a good season. He's getting some game time. If he's good enough to be on loan, he's surely good enough to be our number 3 goalkeeper. Surely. Now the fact that we have a new man in the Darren O'Dea that's going to show players how to get into the first team, we need to start doing it. But anyway, Benjamin Siegrist for me will be gone. I think we need to get short of him. He's taken up a large chunk of cash. Scott Bain will remain at Celtic. He's got a new contract just recently, last year, and he'll remain at Celtic due to the fact he's Scottish, and he adds to the Scottish contingent when it comes to Europe. The big man, the penalty misser, the penalty saver, Joe Hart, is retiring from football. So Celtic will be looking for a new first choice goalkeeper. They could be looking for 2 goalkeepers this summer. I would definitely, if it was me, sell Benji Siegrist. Just get what you can get for him and get him off the book. As far as I'm concerned, that's just my own personal view. Tell me what you think in the comments. Hail from Mars, says John. There we go. There we go, John coming in from Mars. Anyway, Stuart says, the players you have just mentioned, Baz, will never make it at Celtic. No, they won't. And this is why they get put out on loan. And to see how they react. Young Adam Montgomery, I thought he's one that might make it. Ben Summers went to Dunfermline. He was one that was kicking around about the first team. I think young Ben Summers should definitely come back. And Adam Montgomery. I think that's 2 young players that need to come back. Bosun Lawwell, well, if he comes back and he goes back into defence, although he has been for Fleetwood Town, he has been going into that whole midfield role, is he going to be better than Tomoki Awata? But I definitely think he's a big tank. Get him back for backup for our defence. I would get Bosun Lawwell back into the team. Matthew Anderson, another young defender. Haven't seen too much of him. But Kwon, get rid of him. Bernabe, get rid of him. Mikey Johnson, your time's up. Johnny Kenny, never going to make it as Celtic. I mean, what Ange Postecoglou's seen in him, I'll never know. Haksabanovic, get rid of him. And yeah, that's probably about 6. They players will never come. Benji Siegrist, get rid of him. We're going to be looking for another goalkeeper due to Joe Hart's retirement. Let's look at the defenders. One defender, we'll start off in their numbers. Number 2 is obviously Alistair Johnston. You're keeping Ali Johnston all day long because he's just, when he's on his game, Ali Johnston's a fantastic player. Joe Hart's pushed 2 penalties straight through him. Thank Lord he's retiring. Sell Yang. Let's get to them in a minute. Calm your ham, as they say. Right, anyway. Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor, our number 3. Greg Taylor. You're going to keep Greg Taylor because he's Scottish. And you can say that he's not the best, right? But you're going to keep Greg Taylor because of that Scottish contingent. Unless we're going to bring in Kieran Tierney, which we're not going to do. Greg Taylor will remain at Celtic. So, Baz, you need another 52 people to get to the 16,000. Yes, we do. Thank you for noticing that. Thank you for noticing that. Thank you for noticing that. We do that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because we are currently on 15,948 subscribers. And we're trying to get to 16,000 before the end of the season. 20,000 before Christmas. That is the target. And get on it, Celtic fans and fans of any other club, because let's face it, it's just talk shit here. Anyway, getting back to the players, definitely going to be tough 5 games after the split. Yeah, is that? Do you still want Adam Ida? Says JRB. There's a bit of me says that if you get him for the right money, he could be a fantastic squad player. But going into Europe, I think we need someone with a bit more experience. He could be the type of player that could come in and we could maybe sell on. But I think, personally, I want us to stop that. We need to buy in some kind of experienced players now. We went down the younger model. We went down the younger player. We went down of project players. And I think now Brendan needs to go in to Lawwell and Co, or whoever's making the decisions these days when it comes to players transfer, and say, look, this is the type of player we need. Anyway, Greg Taylor, he'll probably get kept. Number 4 is Gustav Lagerbielke, the Swede. Gustav Lagerbielke, he'll be gone this summer. And I just hope that he gets a team that wanted him as much as the team did in the last transfer window. Our number 5. Liam Scales. I'll whisper his name. Liam Scales. Should we keep Liam Scales? He's a good squad player. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I'm not too sure about Liam Scales. He's got too many silly mistakes in him. Can he get better? Can Liam Scales? Do you think that Liam Scales, tell me in the comment section, do you think that Liam Scales can improve more as a player? Can he improve more as a player? I've been a supporter of Scales, but I've had enough now, says Chow Pill. Scales is backup. You've got to remember, he was backup before, and then he went away to Aberdeen to try and improve him. We're going to keep him just now. He's a good backup player. But then you've got a Polish player that we spent 4.3 million on, who's our number 17, and that's Maciej Norrocky, whatever. It's fucking big Rocky. But has he done enough to show his 4.3 million Polish euros, or well, it would have been pounds that we paid in? Has Big Rocky done enough to prove that he's going to be a decent player? For me, he's not done enough. Swap Scales from Mavovsky. That would never happen. They'd want far too much money. Scales is going to play cash in. Yep. Kaiser is in the house. So tell me what you think about Big Norrocky. Our number 17, our Polish defender. Has he done enough to warrant an extended stay at Celtic, or should Celtic cut their losses and get shot of him? And then you've got the one and only Yuki Kobayashi. Where is he? Where is Kobayashi? Did he go back out on loan? He's not on the loan list at Celtic. Where is Kobayashi? Tell me in the comments. Did Kobayashi go out on loan? Because he's not on the Celtic loaned out list. So where is Kobayashi? Where's Kobayashi? He's a bit like a player that we're going to get to in the midfield that's been at Celtic. No, Gales is scared. Rocky hasn't done enough. We pay, even if we paid £40 for him. Rocky is pissed. No, Scales. Tell me about Kobayashi. I think Kobayashi's on his way out. So that is our number 18, Kobayashi. And then there's our number 20, the big man himself, the big puddin'. Cameron Carter-Vickers. Big Cameron Carter-Vickers, who's got an absolutely fantastic looking dug. You're going to keep Cameron Carter-Vickers. You want to build round him in defence, if you ask me. Cameron Carter-Vickers, you need someone. I've got to say it, we need someone a bit like a player that we allowed to go away to be near his missus in Spain. Kobayashi's trapped in the headlights. Where is Kobayashi? Big Rocky would be better performance than Scales. If he can keep fit long enough, that's the only worry about Big Rocky, his inability to stay fit this season. Anyway, then you've got Tony Ralston. You're going to keep Tony Ralston all day long because he's Scottish and he's a good squad player. Unless Tony Ralston turns around and goes, look, I've been at Celtic a long time. I've been at Celtic since I was a kid. I came through the system the same time as Tierney. And Tierney's went on to have a no bad football career and play in a couple of different leagues now. Well, Tony Ralston, he's just had a kid and everything, isn't he? So he's going to stay at Celtic. Tony Ralston's going to be a squad player at Celtic, and he'll probably leave Celtic in 2 or 3 years' time once the manager says, like, it's probably time for you to go because we need somebody a bit better. And then you've got the guy who just got a new contract. They got a new contract this season, and it's Stephen Welsh. Oh, it's like going from bad to worse, isn't it? It's like going from bad to worse. Stephen Welsh, you're going to keep Stephen Welsh due to the fact that it looks like Stephen Welsh will stay at Celtic because he's Scottish. And it is only one reason, but it's because he's Scottish. There's no other reason that Stephen Welsh would be at Celtic. But we need a number of Scottish players for playing in Europe. And unfortunately for us, that's bad saying that, isn't it? Fortunately for Stephen, he was born in Scotland and he's a Celtic player. So it's good for Stephen. It's fantastic for him being Scottish and playing for Celtic. So it makes sure that as our number 57, Stephen Welsh will remain at Celtic. Now we move on to the midfield players. And number 15 is a skinny little lad that comes from Norway. Stephen isn't listening. Celtic players don't listen to podcasts. They've got a lot better things to do in their life. A lot better things to do in their life than listen to our nonsense. Anyway, let's talk about the big skinny Norwegian. Odin not so much of a warrior. Odin the warrior, we called him when he came. Odin the warrior. What were we thinking? What were we thinking calling him Odin the warrior? Odin Thago. Odin Ohm. He's another player that's not going to make it, is he? Let's be realistic here. Is Ohm going to make it at Celtic? And I said no. And loan him out. They all listen, says guys. They all listen. And then once we get, I think, loan Ohm out. Say that fast. Loan Ohm out. Loan Ohm out. Loan Ohm out. Try to say that fast. Loan Ohm out. Loan Ohm out. Runs a Japanese French song. Hope so, poor Stephen. Right, next up is our number 16. And he's a bit like, this player is a bit like, he's nothing like anything really. Because at least when the Rangers say they're coming, sometimes now and again you see them. When James McCarthy says he's coming, nobody hears him. Nobody sees him. Where is James McCarthy? I think James McCarthy should be, he should hand back every single penny to Celtic, really. He should hand back every single penny that he has earned. Is every single penny that he's earned. £2 million is taken out of Celtic. 2 million. 2 million quid. 2 million. Think about that for a minute. 2 million. 2 million. James McCarthy will have been paid 2 million by Celtic. And then you've got Tomoki Iwata. Tomoki Iwata, well, he's a player that is meant to be cracking in the holding midfield role, but let's face it, he's no Callum McGregor. And I'm not sure about Tomoki Iwata. And I fear if we go into the Champions League with Tomoki Iwata in that holding midfield role, I'll be honest, I'd fear for us. I'd fear for us. And then it comes to the decision with our number 28, and we probably will buy Paulo Bernardo this summer, especially if we sell Matt O'Reilly, who's our number 33, for 25 plus million. We'll then go cheap and we'll buy Paulo Bernardo for around about 5 million or something. We'll bring in Paulo Bernardo, and that'll be your direct replacement for the one and only Matt O'Reilly, who, let's face it, if 25 million or even 20 million plus comes in for Matt O'Reilly this summer, Celtic will bite the hand off anyone. The league will be done and dusted by then, which is the only reason that we kept him, and the fact that Atletico Madrid wanted to bring him in on loan until the end of the season and then pay the money. Celtic will be sitting there rubbing their hands, thinking we're in the money this summer, which is a bit disappointing. But Matt O'Reilly will be off. Rio Hatate, another player who's kind of underachieved this season, or number 41. Rio Hatate, I think he'll still be here next season. He's not a player that would sell just yet. I think we'll be lucky if we get one more year out of Rio Hatate, and then he'll be on his merry travel down south, I reckon. I think somebody from down south will come in and take him off our hands in a year or so. If not, you might find with some of the Japanese players, meaning Hatate and Kyogo, they might actually stick around until the end of their contracts. They might stick around till the end of their contracts and then just go back to Japan on a free, rather than go down south. Especially him and Dyson. I think those players will see out their contracts, not sign new contracts, and then just head back to Japan. I think that they'll have made enough out of Celtic and they'll be like, happy days, we're back to Japan, we don't really need to go anywhere else. And anyway, that is Rio Hatate. Callum McGregor, he's a Celtic for life, isn't he? And then there's the man that a lot of people, he comes under the midfield role at Celtic, even though he's more of a winger. But he's a player that a lot of people said, he's past it, get rid of him. Within 2 touches of the ball at the weekend, James Forrest put the ball in the back of the net, sticking to the touchline and coming in just before the 18-yard line and doing what James Forrest does best, and has scored goals. People saying that James Forrest has passed it, not a chance. For me, I would start James Forrest this weekend. Start him, play him for the start up in Dundee, get us a goal up early on in the game so that we're not mucking about. James Forrest, for me, he's a Celtic for life. He's a Celtic player for life. He comes under the same bracket as Callum McGregor. Even you heard Joe Hart talking about him at the weekend. You heard Joe Hart talking about Jamesy Forrest. And it's not just what James Forrest does on the pitch, said Joe Hart. The experience that he brings to the club, the experience that he brings in of his experience playing for Celtic and winning over the whatever many years it is. God, it was that long ago. It must be around about 14 years now, or 12, 13 years anyway, that James Forrest came onto the scene as a young lad. He says that experience is invaluable to everyone in the dressing room. And that's why James Forrest will be a Celtic player for life. Now we get to the front players. By front, I mean the fact that Celtic play 3, they play a main striker, and they play 2 wingers in the 4-3-3 formation that Brendan plays. So the first one up is our number 7. And I think it's a player that's maybe doing the number 7 jersey an injustice. And I think a lot of people will agree with me by saying this. Although he's had a fantastic run of games at points this season, I think he really is doing the number 7 jersey a bit of an injustice. And Lewis Palmer, for as good as he is, he needs a kick up the arse, I think. I think he needs to become more, I don't know if it's team player, but Louis Palmer, I mean, he's going to still be at Celtic next season because he wants to do it in the Champions League. The little lad from Honduras, does he have a lot more to offer Celtic? Can he up his game? Can Brendan Rodgers make Lewis Palmer a better player? Can Lewis Palmer make Can Brendan Rodgers make Louis Palmer a better player? Palmer, I don't like, says James. We keep downgrading players. Jota, Abada, in place with Kuhn. Yang, Starfelt by Scales, O'Reilly, Bernardo. Yes, yes. It's Stevie. It's unbelievable. It's what the Celtic fans that go to game call manage decline. And Celtic go through this managed decline every so often. They go through managed decline, and that's basically what it is. It's the downgrading. The wages are downgraded. We're paying less in wages, and well, the club will say that we're paying more in wages, but we've got a bigger squad, and we've got a squad of fucking players that shouldn't even be in the club. Selling Sporting Gijon. Shoulders way faster pitch. Got to keep Ben Palmer says, James, I agree. James can take Palmer. For fuck's sake, bin him, sell him. O'Reilly's still here, Bernardo isn't signed. Yes, O'Reilly is still here at the moment, and Bernardo isn't signed. But what we're talking about is we're talking about this summer, and we're talking about players that I think should be binned out of Celtic, players that will probably leave Celtic, and the only reason that Bernardo will be sold is because we sell Matt O'Reilly. It's as simple as that. We'll sell Matt O'Reilly and we'll buy Paulo Bernardo. And don't care what anybody says, that's the way that Celtic do it. That's the way that Celtic do it. We know that's what they're going to do. So let there be no surprise if that happens. Anyway, we're talking about Louis Palmer. Louis Palmer is a player. Can Brendan Rodgers get more out of Louis Palmer and improve him as a player? To then make him better, to play him in the Champions League, and then hopefully he gets that move that he wants to Spain. Anyway, our number 8. Our number 8 won't be going anywhere this summer. Our little Japanese boy, our little dancing Japanese guy, like you get in the Chinese. Anyway, Kyogo. Kyogo won't be going anywhere. Kyogo will be our Celtic for the next couple of seasons. And if anything, unless there's a shock, I don't think MD's going to come in for Kyogo. I'm going to be perfectly honest. When you look at the English Premier League, I can't see anyone coming in for him. Can't see the Premier League coming in for him because they'll think he's too lightweight, and with that shoulder injury, they'll be unsure on how his fitness would keep over the course of a season. And the fact that he's bounced off the ball quite a lot in Scotland, I think he'd be bounced off the ball even more down in England. Then comes our loan player. Our loan player. Should we buy or just not even bother? I've got a funny feeling that Adam Ida's story will come to an end at the end of this season. I don't think Celtic will make an offer. I think it'll be probably too much. They'll probably want between in the region of between 4 and 6 million for Adam, and I don't think Celtic would be prepared to make an offer for the player. He was brought in on loan because we needed, let's face it, O was going off to international duty during the Asia Cup. We thought that Kyogo would be going out on loan, so we got Adam Ida in. It turned out that Kyogo didn't get picked, but we were already down the line. We're trying to get in Adam Ida, and we got him in on loan just as a safe way, just as a saving bet. He has scored 7 goals this season. I fully expect him to score 10. I expect him to score 10 before the end of the season. But I think that Adam will be a player that I don't think Celtic will make an offer for. I think Brendan Rodgers will be looking for a different type of player, someone maybe with a bit more experience and a little bit more direct. Could we then go for the Aberdeen striker? Well, I don't know. Who's going to replace Joe Hart? Who knows? So Adam Ida, I think that I've just got a funny feeling that I'd be surprised if Celtic might make a cheeky offer. They might make a cheeky offer, knowing that the player wants to play for Celtic and he loves playing for Celtic. And but is he willing to sit on the bench? That being said, would the Aberdeen striker be willing to come play second fiddle to Kyogo? I don't think so. We have to look at the way that Celtic play. Any striker that's now coming to Celtic is going to say, well, if he's your number one, and Brendan will say, look, no one's guaranteed game time. Do your talking on the training pitch, and then we'll pick the best players. If Kyogo's getting the nod, you're going to have any striker that's played in Scotland, they'll see what's happened over the last couple of seasons and how Celtic would always go back to Kyogo as the main striker. I think any player in Scotland, i.e. the Aberdeen player, I think he would then turn around and go, do you know what? I'm not playing second fiddle to anyone when I could get a move to another club and be a first choice striker. So I think that's the only thing that would hinder Celtics going for the Aberdeen striker. Any excellent striker wants to start. Yeah, they do that. What's Michael Ross saying? Carly, I'll probably be so pitch 2. And anyway, right, next up after Adam Ida is our number 10. And I've got to say, we've had a player that came from Germany years ago, Andy Thom. And he was fantastic for Celtic, was Andy Thom. A brilliant German player. And it feels like that we've been kind of short-changed when we went out and bought Nico Kuhn. Nicholas Kuhn started off in his younger days at Ajax, came through the academy at Ajax, went to a club in Germany and couldn't make it in Germany, and then ended up in Vienna, playing for Rapid Vienna. And then Celtic come along and pick him because they think that they can maybe make him this fantastic player that the likes of the academy at Ajax couldn't. And the way that Ajax turn out players, you would think that they maybe know a thing or two about picking good players. Have we been shortchanged by Nico Kuhn? Is he a player? The first game that he played for Celtic, he had some nice trickery, overstepping the ball, taking on players, but he's kind of stopped. Is he a player? It's a big summer for him, especially in the Champions League. He needs to turn up, and he needs to make sure that he hits the heights that he can. Anyway, next is our number 13. Some say that this is unlucky for some, and it's definitely unlucky for Celtic. Andy Thom, Thunder Sea Kicks. Yep, they were that. Andy Thom was absolutely brilliant. I'm not reading all the comments. Michael Ross has been a fanny. Is he? Oh, I'm just going to leave him. Anyway, number 13. Unlucky for some. It's like we're calling the bingo. And it's Yang. Yep, Yang. I'll admit it. 5 minutes into the game on Saturday, I said get Yang off the pitch. I would attain Yang off the pitch after 5 minutes of the game at the weekend. I'm surprised that he got to stay on for such a long time. He got 10 minutes into the second half. He did get 10 minutes into the second half, and then he was taken off. But Yang, I don't know who picks these players. I mean, Ange Postecoglou is a lot to answer for. Ange Postecoglou picks out Yang and says that he's one for the future. Is Yang a loan? I wouldn't even loan him out. What's this up? Well, that's a swear word, Michael Ross. You can't be doing things like that on the channel. Can't be saying things like that on the channel. You've got a time out. Yang's a joke. Get Yang out on loan. Would you put Yang out on loan? Yang is one of those players you can tell with his first touch if he's on or not. Yang's one of those players. He couldn't release Jamesy Forrest, but his right boot. He couldn't release Jamesy Forrest right boot. Even both his boots, one of his boots. He's never going to be a James Forrest. He comes inside at the weekend. He was coming inside far too much, and I said this, and one of the boys in the pub were saying, "Look, it's obviously Brendan Rodgers is telling him to come inside." And I'm like, Brendan Rodgers would play at Hampden. Brendan Rodgers wants to use the width of the pitch. He wants to use the full width of the pitch. Yang was coming inside far too much, trying to get involved in stuff that he shouldn't have. He was then out of position, and then when the ball was going out to where he should have been, he wasn't there. He got told to stick to the byline. He did for 10 minutes, but he was still as pish. He was still as pish the second half, and it lasted 10 minutes. So Rodgers went, right, get off. Get off. Get him off. Yang. I didn't know. Would I loan him out or would I just get rid of him? I don't think you'd get anybody to buy him. That's the problem. If you're going to sell Yang, you're going to have to sell him back to South Korea. You're not going to get anybody in the English Premiership wanting to buy him because he's just a young lad. Anyway, next on to number 19. And I feel sorry for this lad. He is just a young lad. But oh, how we've got it so wrong with him. Oh. He must be feeling, what do I need to do to get back into this team? Well, one is get past Aramida. Do you know what? This is how far we've downgraded. This is how far we've downgraded at Celtic. And this is why we need complete, whoever comes in as the head of recruitment, and Brendan Rodgers has said that he is involved in the discussions on whoever they bring in. They need to bring in somebody that is not bringing you the players of and I'm sorry, but he's just not good enough to be Celtic player. He's never going to be good enough. No matter how much Klinsmann thinks he's going to be a fantastic player someday, Klinsmann got the boot for the South Korea job, didn't he? He got the absolute boot. Hasn't produced it. Either scores it or nothing. Yep. Celtic second strikers need to do that. Yes. Bind. Missed what Michael said. Lol. Chilpel. Don't know what he said because I put him on a timeout. Because he said knob. That's the only reason I put him on a timeout. I don't know what he said before that, but he called somebody else a knob, so I put him on timeout. Don't be calling names to other Celtic fans on here. His cousin is Yang. Yang and Yang. Yang. Oh, Yang. That's not even. Yang is worse than a man short. Yes, it is that. And Yang try swap for not a chance. And Yang were made for Ange Ball. B. See, when you look at the way that Celtic actually play, we still play Ange Ball. Even Brendan Rodgers has said this. He says, like a doorknob. Yeah, you could say doorknob. Where's my phone beeping? Anyway, we have gained some subscribers tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Right, getting back to the players. Is our number 19. And I think it's... You've got to be brutal. And I think in life, and if you're sitting at Celtic, you have to be really brutal and say, look, you're never going to make it. You're never going to be... Can we afford to keep someone like that for... When you look at Celtic strikers in the past, even more recently, Odsonne Edouard, Moussa Dembele, Lee Griffiths, Tony Stokes, goal scorers all day long. Is a poor man version of them. He couldn't lace any of their boots. And that's talking recent history. Do you know, you go back further and you've got Van Gure, Hesselhink, and you've got players like that. You go back further than that, and then you look back at the Suttons, the Chris Suttons, the John Hartsons, and the King of Kings. This is how far back we've came as a team. And it is not acceptable in Celtic. We should not be... The Celtic manager should say... And we know that we have to work within some parameters of the club to be financially viable and produce players that we can then sell on, the likes of Matt O'Reilly. But come on, is never going to do it. Now, next up, and the last but not least, is the one and only man that used to be bald. He would shave his head every 2 days religiously. And now he's grown his hair. And he's got a moustache. And he's dyed it blonde. And it's no wonder you got injured doing that, Dyson. Dyson Maeda will still be a Celtic player next season. Dyson Maeda, I think, will be one of those players that will see out his contract at Celtic. He's a player. Stokes was shite too. Tony Stokes was brilliant. Shut up. Griff was the sniper. Tony Stokes was brilliant. Look, I've got a picture with me and Stokes at Tynecastle that was in the Celtic View. He scored a cracker that day. Aye, back to come good, says Kaiser. Um, Jabba says, too early to Dutch Yang, he's 21. And new culture, see how he is next season. Wait a minute. Whoa, no, no, whoa. Right. Chill, pal. We loan out our own 21-year-olds that come through the club. Why are we buying in 21-year-olds and not being adverse to loaning them out? This is what I'm saying, right? Are you telling me that, right, when you look at the young players that's out, have we got any strikers that are out? Right, Johnny Kenny, right, he's better than Johnny Kenny, right? Marco Tilio plays on the wing, Haksabanovic is on the wing, and that's it. So midfielders and defenders, Mikey Johnson's on the wing. So this is how bad we've not even got a striker that's out on loan that's good enough. When you look at the players that are out on loan, Mikey Johnson, Bernabe, Haksabanovic, Marco Tilio. Are you telling me that O is better than Marco Tilio? Not a chance. Not a chance. He needs put out on loan. He might only be 21, but he's never. Michael Ross is innocent. Baz, I have run a Celtic family. Has been okay. Unlucky is O's been okay. Unlucky he's not getting game time. But he's not near the quality to be our main striker. Of course he's not. Justice for Michael Ross. You're free. What are you going on about, Michael? You're free. You're free. Right? Oh man. Michael Ross is innocent. I don't understand how Dyson can be as bad crossing the ball. Because Ange Postecoglou brought Dyson to Celtic to play him as a winger. And without known to us, he doesn't really play as a winger when he's back in Japan. Doesn't play as a winger when he's back in Japan. Even for the Japanese national team, he plays as their main striker. Now, you're not playing a winger as a striker for the Japanese national team if he's not playing that position week in, week out back in Japan. So, Giego's a fantastic finisher. He's not getting the service. The wingers are hopeless. Yes, they are. There's Michael Cameron. Scott says, homegrown players before they're sold and not given a chance. Yes, exactly. When you look at some of the players that I think should come back into into the team next year, young Toby, although he is English, is young Toby, but young Toby needs to come back in and be our third choice keeper. Another young player that is out, Ben McPherson, I think he needs to come back. Bosun Lawwell, he needs to come back into the first team. Liam Shaw, he's had his chance. He's never going to do it. Marco Tilio, well, it's still out on him. Can he come back and make? He's currently got a hamstring injury. Ben Summers was a cracking little prospect last year. He was put out on loan to get game time. I don't know how he's done at Dunfermline this season, but he was a fantastic looking little player. He was probably in the same bracket as Mikey Johnson. Now, Mikey Johnson's went away down to West Brom Albion, and he's having a fantastic time. Is it their level down there? Is it his level, Mikey Johnson? The Championship. Some people say that the Championship's harder than the Scottish Premier League. I don't know. I don't watch the Championship, but they certainly get a lot. They get a lot of crowds, around about 15 to 20,000 in the stadiums that they have in that league. So, when you look at it that way, but there's not many more that we've got out on loan that are going to come straight back into the first team. For me, Adam Montgomery, Ben McPherson, Bosun Lawwell, young Toby, and Ben Summers. That's the 5 players out of 15. 5 out of 15 that would come back and get into the Celtic first team. The rest of them that are out on loan, well, apart from young Josh Clark, the goalkeeper, who went to Ayr United because Scott Brown was in need of a goalkeeper. But he's younger than young Toby, and Toby's been getting some game time over at Admira Waka. Anywho, as they say, we now have 15,953 subscribers. Yes, we're on the road to 16,000 and 20,000 before Christmas. It's just started raining here. What the fuck? Rain? Holy shit. We have rain. We haven't had rain for ages. It is actually raining. Oh, there you go. Stranger things have happened. Anyway, how long have we been on? I'm just going to hear. We have been on for 45 minutes. Jeez, I was never staying on for 45 minutes. 20k by May. Not a chance, Kaiser. Not a chance. It's the Celtic channel. It's the Celtic channel. It's never going to do 5,000 before the end of May. Not a chance. Anyway, Matty, Rio, Kyogo, dies in CCV, Alistair Johnson, and couldn't be bored. Put the rest if they went. Yep. Something today says we'll loan out our boys to get them to see the grass isn't greener. Yes, we do that. Scott Wilson says, why invest money in youth development and sell them before we try and make no sense to me? It doesn't to me either. That's why Celtic have changed things. And the one and only Darren D is now a pathway manager, which is a new position that was created by Celtic, a pathway manager from showing players who he will work individually with players, not on the pitch, but career-wise, and showing them the pathway of getting from the levels of youth teams up into the first team at Celtic, which means Darren O'Dea's got pretty much a job for life. It is water in the oranges. Thank goodness. The oranges, the lemons need some good watering. The pomegranates need a good water. What else? The grapes, they'll be getting a good watering. And what's in the veg garden? The tomatoes, the peppers, the watermelons. And what else is in there? The aubergines. Oh, can't remember what else. Anyway, that's enough about the garden. It worked. Rain to the pain. Boy from Benny Offer, Mikey. Boy from Benny Offer, did you go into Hoops Bar at the weekend? Mikey Johnson is far better option than Yang as a sub. Get him back. I think that Mikey Johnson wants to play football. Mikey Johnson now, I don't think Mikey Johnson wants to be a bit part player. I think he's at the age where he needs to be playing first team football. Yes, that's just my thing. For Mikey Johnson, he wants to play first team football, and I don't think that even if he was offered to come back to Celtic, if somebody comes in, I think he'll want to move. He needs to play playing football. Watermelons. He's showing off now, Baz. Yep. Yeah, I'm not. Good night, Baz. James Forrest is shite. James, right, Parkhead boy. I think I should just ban you. No, still in the North Sea. Somebody went in the Hoops Bar asking for me at the weekend, and I didn't make it down to the Hoops Bar. Anyway, Scott Wilson said that one. Kaiser, our fans have too much patter. We destroy young players. Yes, it is. Kaiser, you know this as well as I do. You know, you've been around the block, as they say. We always give it to the Scottish players worse. We give it to the young players worse. Anyway, Parkhead boy, that's fucking fighting talk. Sell Mikey for an obscene amount right now. Yes, we should do that. What do you do? What do you have a stroll in the market about? No, I didn't have a stall in the market. That's just my garden. We've also got, what else have we got? Olive trees as well. You wee fart. McCarthy's here for a testimonial. Says something today. Anyway, one last shout out. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, because we're on to 15,954 subscribers. We're on the road to 16. It will happen on a live one evening. We'll hit the 16,000 subscribers on a live, and then the target before Christmas is 20,000. Can we get 4,000? Of course we can. We'll hit 20,000 before Christmas. And on that note, you know what time it is. It's time for me to drink my Fanta Lemon. Don't ban Parkhead boy. He's a dwarf. He's okay. Oh, gee. Is that for the martinis? That's the lemons. Anyway, that's us just about to hit the 50-minute mark. Get some comments. No, it's not. Have you got a star? Scott Wilson says youth players are getting a chance to self-mate. sends out the wrong signals. Yes, it does that. Is it clementines in the garden? No, it's not. It's not. It's Seville oranges. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around the world. There's not been many viewers on it. It's only been 776 views of the video this evening. There's currently 165 online. Have a fantastic evening, wherever you are, all around the world. And on that note, see you later, love.